They weren't grizzled road warriors or industry insiders, just a few West Coast dreamers trying to get a feel for the LA sound. Peter Beckett was fresh off the boat from Liverpool with a head full of Beatle melodies. C.J. Crowley was a Texas-born tenor, and the two met at a Hollywood party. That was 1976, and they clicked instantly. They shared a love for hook-filled pop and silky melodies, setting them apart from some hard rock and disco-dominated airwaves. They were joined by guitarist Ron Moss and drummer John Friesen, and they became Player. We talk about Baby Come Back on Rock History Music. Baby Come Back was released on October 1977, and it hit number one in January the following year, from Player's self-titled debut album on RSO Records. Written by Peter Beckett and C.J. Crowley, the track was a smooth, yacht rock-leaning blend of soft rock and R&B influences. I remember when I first heard it, the song's polished melodies. That drumming was amazing. I was thinking, this is a perfect pop song. Baby Come Back reached number one in the US on January 14th, 1978, staying there for 3 consecutive weeks. The success of the song helped Player's album go gold. When Baby Come Back was a hit, America was going through sort of a different feeling in music. From the rawness of the early 70s to the mid-70s, to more sleek radio-friendly pop of the West Coast sound or the LA sound, or now that's been called yacht rock. Think about it, 77, 78, we're talking Saturday Night Fever, Star Wars, the Eagles, Hotel California, Peter Beckett, Player, and Baby Come Back on Rock History Music.
I'll give you the story on that. I was kind of down and out in LA. I'd come here to join a super group of riders. An Australian, an American, Steve Kipner, and myself as an English guy. And it was a trio it ended up being called Sky Band. It started being called Friends, turned into Sky Band, and we did one album on RCA. And basically I came here in 74, and I was paid a decent amount of money. I'd never been to America, and I was paid a decent amount of money to sit around a swimming pool and write songs. And they expected results. They expected to get hits. And we did one tour of England, strangely enough, not even America, and came back and split up. And then I was just, hanging around, writing. I was broke, and riding with a bunch of people. And I was invited to a party up in the Hollywood Hills, and everybody was supposed to wear white. And I didn't get the memo, so I'm just in jeans and a T-shirt. And I bumped into another guy called J.C. Crowley, who was from Texas, and he was dressed in jeans and T-shirt too. And we kind of started talking, and we got on. He was totally different than me. He was a Texan country singer, and I was a Liverpool rocker, And we got on great. And so a couple of days later, we got together and started writing in his garage, and we wrote a handful of songs, which we eventually, started hawking around the producers in LA without much success. And then one afternoon, he started plunking around on this chord. We started just writing a verse around it, and by the end of that day, we had the verses, basically, with some of the words. Second day, he came to my place at the Valentina building in Hollywood, which is a 20s apartment building, really great place. And we worked on it some more, and overnight, I had come up with Baby Come Back title, and we were looking for something that went, because we had the tune, we had the chords. And it just came into my head, let's have a drink, and Baby Come Back. It's like a trumpet blast. And so the next day we pretty much had verse, structure, and chorus. And I had this idea because I could sing pretty high. In Little River Band, I sang the falsetto parts, And JC kind of had more of a baritone voice. And I always loved the Righteous Brothers. And I said, what if we do a bridge where you sing a line and I do like the Bobby Hatfield part, the high part,
Yeah.
Nothing left for me, and nothing left for me. And we just put it in there, and it worked. I think that's a lot to do with why the song was a hit.
I like the story when you were talking about, playing it for the record guys, the company guys, and you were playing a few songs, and then you played Baby Come Back, and everything changed.
Everything changed. It was like, before that it was like, nice songs, you guys are young, you look good, nice songs. And then when we threw that in the mix, it was just like mouths dropped, silence for a few seconds, And then we played it to Dennis Abbott and Brian Potter, who were involved with Al Corey at RSO, and they just said, "I think that song's a hit," you know. So we went and we put it down, and actually they took it. We didn't take it. They took it to Al Corey, who was kind of the head of RSO at the time, and he fell in love with it, and the rest was history, you know. But before that, I'll tell you this: we had that song, and we went to the Beverly Hilton Hotel, which is Hotel California, by the way. It is. And we were in the ballroom to play to Clive Davis. And by then we had the rest of the guys, you know, who were going to become player. And we just were on this stage in the ballroom, just sitting on stools, pig nose amp for the bass and just acoustic guitars. And Clive Davis came in, sat in the front. He's the only guy in there, you know, and he's sitting like this with his arms folded in a suit, you know, impress me, you know. And so we started playing, and we played a couple of songs, and then we thought, you know, we got it now when we do Baby Come Back. And we did Baby Come Back, and he goes, "Yeah," he says, "you guys look good, you sound good, but I don't hear a hit." And so that was the end of our chances with Clive Davis. And so Al Corey, you know, didn't see it that way, and Al Corey ran with it, you know, and before we knew it, we're rehearsing to go on tour, just small gigs, you know, and our manager came running into rehearsal, and Baby Come Back had been out a few weeks, and he said, "You're number 80 on Billboard." And that was a bigger moment than when we were number one. It was just, oh my God, we're on Billboard. It didn't matter what number it was, you know? Yeah. So that was a great thing.
It's like having your first house. It's a small little house, but it's your first house.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
the fact that you had predicted that it was going to be number one, you actually said it on stage, right?
I did.
That takes balls, man.
Well, that was before. We were at SIR rehearsal studio, and we did, they used to call it a showcase, you know, where they had these rehearsal rooms with a stage and lights and everything and a PA. And it was the same thing, except by now we were electric, so we had a full band. And we did about 5 songs to all these, you know, executives from various record companies. We did 4 songs, and then I walked up to the mic. There's about 30 people in there at the back of the room. And I said, and I just felt something come over me, and I said, now we're going to do our first number one record. It's called Baby Come Back, Hope You Like It. Swear to God. And, you know, they didn't think much of it. You know, we had a lot of turndowns even with Baby Come Back. But people, you know, definitely pricked their ears up, you know.
Well, that's a first-time song. That's like The Way It Is by Bruce Hornsby. That's one of those songs that I remember moments in time where I stopped I literally remember the first time I heard it. I was in my bedroom, and I stopped, and I went, what the hell's that? And the bass line comes in, I'm going, and then the chorus comes, like I'm going...
You're talking about The Way It Is. That's just The Way It Is.
No, I'm talking about your song, too.
Oh, I thought you were talking about...
No, The Way It Is a song like that where I knew where I was when I heard The Way It Is. I was in my basement, but when I was in my bedroom and the radio was on, I was listening to a radio station from New York, in New Brunswick, in Canada, and I remember turning, and it was a moment of time for me.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for me to talk to you, because that song meant a lot to, you know, and I bought the album.
Well,
and
you should have been in the car the first time I heard it on the radio.
What was that like?
I almost crashed.
Yeah.
I almost crashed. I was so excited.
Well, you're lucky you still got the voice, which is something that a lot of vocalists have problems with. And, I mean, I don't know if I could, I mean, even if I could sing, I can't imagine being able to sing a song like Baby Come Back, because to me that sounds like a hard song to sing.
It's really just the high part.
Yeah.
You know, when we were writing that song, it's like it only took us a couple of days to write that. And we knew we had something when we wrote it. But when it came to the bridge, I said to Crowley, you know, we should do something like the Righteous Brothers, you know, where they had Bill Medley sing the low and, you know, the other guy sing the high part, and Bobby Hatfield. And so we did that little bridge, and he nothing left for me, and I had nothing left for me. And then the gap, the silence, and I think that was a big part of why it was a hit. I think that was very hooky.
Yacht rock, does that term resonate with you, or it is what it is for you?
Well, it is. The beginning of yacht rock for me was about 10 years ago, and I was at a baseball game with my son, and a young son. He's only 18 now. I'm way too old to be his dad. But we're at a baseball game, and my phone goes, and it's this guy from Atlanta, Peter Olson, and he's the singer in a band called Yacht Rock Review. And he's a real nice guy, and he said, we've got this cover band, we do 70s stuff, we're pretty big around Atlanta area and stuff, and we put on this big show every year, and we're starting to bring in, we do all the 70s stuff, Player, Little River Band, Hall & Oates, everything. And he said, we're starting to bring in the actual singers. We're bringing them down to Atlanta. We do this big show, and we have the real singers get up with us and sing their hits. And he said, would you like to come down? And I thought, sounds a little strange. What did he say? Yacht what?
Yeah.
You know? And I went down, and what I saw was a movement. It was crazy. There was in this big tent set up in this parking lot. There's about 3,000 people there, and it's grown a lot since then. And they've all got white sailors hats on, and they're all drink in their hand, and they're all singing the choruses with everybody. I went out and did 4 songs, you know, and they're all singing along and Baby Come Back. And it's just like, I thought, this is crazy. This is a movement, you know. I never knew this existed. I didn't even know what yacht rock meant. I do now. And so I was amazed, and I came back to LA, and I actually started things going with it in LA with our management and different agents. And so I've been doing it every year in one form or another. You know, I do it with Ambrosia a lot right now, with a lot of singers, Robbie Dupree, Stephen Bishop, you know,
Yeah.
Elliot Laurie, Looking Glass, and we do a Yacht Rock Joe. You got me, you know, I really, my tastes have changed so much.
It's hard, isn't it?
And I loved all the Beatles stuff.
Yeah.
I you know, coming a little closer, I like some of the Coldplay stuff. Yeah. I hear stuff via, I have a stepson and my own son, they're both 18, and I get to hear most of the new stuff via them. They'll plug it in the car, you know, and play me stuff they like. But these days, you know, I don't listen that much. I write my own stuff, and I still listen to the classic stuff, and you know, I love it all. I like it. I like the music from the 70s before the machines came in.
Yeah, I agree.
When people could sit and sing you a song with a guitar or a piano that they'd written.
What's the favorite car that you've ever had? You've had a lot.
I've had Porsches, Alfa Romeos, I've had convertibles, I've had 8 Jeeps. I had 8 Jeeps in a row, and as much, because I used to go off-roading a lot when I was younger, you know, it's a little too much now, but that was my thing. Right now, I have a Ram 1500 truck, and it's the best car I've ever had. It's got almost 100,000 miles on it. Nothing's ever gone wrong with it. I just changed the oil, and it's like drives like a Cadillac, and I love it.
See, trucks are different. My car broke down. They gave me the last car on the lot, which was a Ram. I've never driven something that big in my life, and I went, this drives like a Cadillac.
It's amazing, yeah. I got it. I was going to get a small truck, and then I've never had a truck, and I wanted to have a truck because I take my kids camping and stuff to the Sierras, and I got in this thing, and I thought, it's big, but it feels great,
Yeah.
you know? And I love it. I've still got it. I'm not going to get rid of it.
It's
I'm moving to Hawaii soon, and I'm going to take it with me on the boat.
What was that last part? You were what?
I'm moving to the Big Island within the next couple of years, and that'll be it for me. I'll just put my feet up.
Good for you.
What a cool guy, huh? I love talking to Peter Beckett. By the way, my son just put out a drum cover. He's 21. He's been drumming since he was 7 years old. And he came up to me a few weeks ago. He says, you know, I'm going to do Baby Come Back. That is a harder drum part than most people think. John Friesen was the original drummer, as mentioned. I'll have a link to his drum part for Baby Come Back in the description. It's on Instagram. Thanks to Peter Beckett. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, share our videos, and like them as well. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care.